All right, welcome back to the Controvert podcast. My name is Panda, and today we're going to be talking about how women actually have more rights than men. We're going to be disproving and debunking the gender inequality. I'm joined by my co-host, Dalen.
What's up?
Go ahead and say hi.
What's up, guys?
All right, so I want to start off with a quick little story about this. So, Dalen, I was at Spire 73 the other day. Spire 73, right, is like this really fancy, I guess, not like fancy, but like just rooftop bar, okay, in LA.
All right.
Okay. And then, so as I'm going through the security, okay.
Oh, they have security?
Yeah, they have security because it's like at the very top of rooftop bar, right? It's like a skyscraper. So as I'm going through to the security, I'm lining up, okay. As I'm lining up, I see girls not even getting patted down, bro. They're just, what they do is this. They just show what's inside their bag, and then the security's like, okay, go ahead, go through. Whereas the guy, I start seeing the guys afterwards. I'm like, wait, am I tripping out right now? Am I tripping? Like, did I actually see this? I see a guy fucking do this whole thing like this, and then the fucking security's like scanning the whole thing, right? Whole thing. The guy turns around, takes everything out of his pocket, and the security is super strict with this guy. I'm like, wait, did I just see that? I'm just like looking again. I look at another girl. She goes through with like just like looking at the back, and then another guy. I'm like, bro, wait, no way.
Is it security guy or girl?
It's a girl. It's a girl security.
Oh,
okay?
Wait, what? That's even... I was like,
that's
if it was
even
a guy,
worse.
Yeah,
that's
I was
even
a
worse.
guy, I was like, okay, like, you know, like, yeah, guys can't touch girls like that, but if it's a girl, like,
bro,
what?
I was shitting my pants. I was like, is this real life right now?
Yeah, dude.
I was like, wow, this is insane. Okay, so going back to the story, I'm going through the security, okay? Now it's my turn. I'm like, wait, hold up. I'm actually going through the whole fucking process. And then I look at the girl behind me, which is my little sis. She's going through, and I'm like, no way. Did anyone just see what happened?
What happened?
And everyone did not just see how I got patted down. I was sexualized. I have less rights than a woman who could just walk through. Right?
By the woman security guard, right?
Then I'm talking to, we had this group, right? It was guys and girls group. I'm talking to like some guys in the group. I'm like, dude, did you guys just see that? I got patted down, and this girl, my little sis, just walked through. And they're like, yeah, that's just how it is. I'm like, wait, I know that's how it is, but this was like the most extreme example. Yeah, because you know, in securities and clubs, they at least still like look through like and try to like pat down the girl. They probably don't do the whole like, you know, the security scan with the metal detection with the girl, but they at least pat down, right?
Do they have the metal bars now, or the metal bars you just walk through, or no?
They didn't even have that.
Oh, so it's just the little handheld thing, and then they just go all around
at
the
Spire,
body?
At Spire, it was just they just used the handheld thing.
Damn.
And then I don't know what the fuck it's called, like the wand.
Yeah, it's just going all angles everywhere. Just
Fucking chat. Comment down below. I don't know what was it called. The magic wand, the metal detector wand.
Yeah, the TSA one.
But yeah, dude, I was just like in shock. I was like, bro, this did not just happen. And the guys were just like, why are you making such a big deal about it? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just really shocked. Like how this happened. Like this was the most prime example. And it got me thinking, podcast idea time, bro. The podcast idea is men actually have less rights than women, right? So if you think about it, what can you think about?
Well, I could think of like both ways. I could think like, oh, women have more access to jobs, but at the same time, guys do too. All right. So like, think about it, guys. Like, who wants to do like, you know, plumbing job or sewer job, right?
Yeah.
Guys have way more access to those type of jobs, and then girls are like, oh, what do guys want or need, right?
Yeah.
You know, they need a little release, right? So they're like, oh, they have more access to those type of jobs.
Like escort services.
Yeah. Or like, you know, like coffee shop, like when you need a pretty face somewhere, you know, like girls have access to all those jobs.
Or like,
you know?
Hooters.
Yeah, like you don't see a guy can never pull that off at Hooters. Like imagine a guy just going like, woo! There's no way. You feel me? Yeah.
That's so true, man. I mean, like Hooters. I think I've seen like guys like sometimes at Hooters, like guy workers, but like predominantly it's the women. It's the women that are like the workers
with the
there.
balloons.
They're very sexist there. They're looking for girls with like
the bigger the better.
Yeah. So another thing too is like escorts. You don't see fucking males.
Yeah.
Or go-go dancers. It's mostly unless it's a gay bar. Unless it's a gay bar, then it's like
you had experience going to a gay bar, right?
yeah,
How
bro,
was that?
And then it's mostly guys that are dancing there, but you still see women there. So predominantly, these are jobs are like more lower end, more lower paying. Yeah. But look at OnlyFans. OnlyFans, big industry, right? Girls could be making millions of dollars.
For real.
I mean, it's degrading and devaluing yourself. Because you're like showing your private parts. It's supposed to be meant for one person, right? Your husband or your wife. But they're making a lot of money. So you can't argue and be like, oh yeah, we as women don't have access to like higher paying jobs. No, you guys do.
Yeah, but it depends on like if you want to sacrifice your, like your moralities and like your image, You think that takes that's a big one, self-worth for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like some women think it's empowering.
Yeah,
what is that? They think it's empowering to like
I think
show themselves online.
They're just trying to make how like whenever someone's just part of something, they just go like, yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's what I'm doing it's fun. I enjoy doing it. But they're lying to themselves. They're just like saying bullshit, and they're just like, no, yeah, but it's my own placebo. I'm just trying to trick myself, chicanery for myself, man, and then. I think they're just trying to make something good out of it, and that's why like all these OnlyFans creators, they're just always saying, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but they're just like tricking themselves, and then you see them going on podcasts and talking about this like as if it's no problem, but everyone knows deep down inherently there's a problem with OnlyFans. Everyone knows, like for example, if I'm an OnlyFans girl, I wouldn't want my kid looking at my content. Why? Because I know it's bad. And I'm sure these girls know that shit too.
Dude, imagine your son or like your kid gets bullied at school because the other kids have access to the OnlyFans. And he's like, is this your mom?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Oh my goodness,
that's so trash, dude.
That's going to traumatize the kid forever. Be like, my mom's a sex worker.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, dude. Like, you see like these girls, they have access to like receptionist jobs or being a hostess at like a restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, some could argue, well, that's just because the guys are applying are a lot less. But I mean, yeah, that could be true. That could very well be true. But here, I'll pull up something, right? The gender pay gap. Okay. Look at this. Gender pay gap for men. Let's look at the annual median salary of 2022. 2022 is roughly 60K. For women, it's roughly 51K. So if anyone wants to argue that there's a gender pay gap, it's actually really small.
It is
10K. And that is actually attributed to how men they pick things like STEM jobs. They pick things like what you said, plumbing. They pick things like being an electrician. They pick more hands-on things that are like bullshit blue collar work. And these are intensive.
Yeah.
For example, women, they like to go into like beauty. They like to do nails. They like to do like eyelashes.
Hair.
They like to do hair, whatever bullshit, right? Or they like to do more like liberal arts, social sciences. So that's what attributes to this, and that's why the gender pay gap is bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. So another thing too is that women, they also get pitied more. I think you know how that Spire 73 story that I just told? I think that's a factor. They get pitied more because they're like, oh, if more girls come here, then more guys will come and it'll be good for business. So that's kind of like a link to how they're pitied more, right? What a more direct link that I could think of is, for example, I had girls that I dated. They would get like tickets, like citations from officers. While the officer's writing it, she starts crying, dude. And she's just like, it's gonna be bad. And then the officer looks. I think it's like a male instinct, right? Because as men, we want to protect and provide. And we see women as vulnerable. And society has just deemed women as more vulnerable creatures. Even though it's like there's this contradiction of like women and men are equal.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like
No,
we still look at women as very vulnerable beings.
We still pity them
Exactly.
more.
We still pity them more.
Uh-huh.
So they get all these tickets. Fucking officer sees me crying. I've done that before.
Oh, you tried
Not
it?
not like fake crying,
Uh-huh.
but I'm like, officer, please, like, I'm like begging,
Yeah.
pretty much. He's like,
He just says,
yeah, well, you should have thought about that. He's just like, shut the fuck up and suck it up, bitch.
Yeah, dude.
Whereas the girl, she's crying, she's like, and then the officer's like, damn, sad girl.
Yeah.
Maybe I could get a sucky from this too. And people will be thinking I'm capping about this sucky thing, but it's actually no, bro. You look at high school. High school, what can you think about that?
Oh, yeah. What, students and teachers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
students and teachers.
Dude, do you think that actually happened at our high school? Like, do you think
it's happened? It's happened, bro.
really? Like,
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
There's this
We're
teacher.
gonna
He
go
actually
into
he actually got married with one of his students. And then
at our school?
yeah, and then there's
Oh,
this,
maybe we should start. Yeah.
another teacher. He would just like have private lessons with these like cute looking girls. It happens, bro.
Really?
It
I didn't.
doesn't
I'm not
necessarily-
even aware of that. Yeah.
I don't know if they actually get like a sucky from it,
Uh-huh.
but it happens where these like predator guys who are teachers
Uh-huh.
go for these girls and invite them in like for a fucking lesson. Actually, I know of a private tutor who actually got this treatment before. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not gonna say which private tutor. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
it's fucking crazy, man. And so you don't really see too much. Maybe you see on the news like an older woman dated her student.
I want to be a teacher now. joking.
That's predatory, bro.
What happened to like I seen on like for guys, right? We're talking about guy teachers, but I seen also girl teachers be like
Yeah, that's
raping
what I
male
just meant.
students.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my goodness, where were those teachers when I was younger? You know?
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
no, but that's super outlier. That's super rare, right? I don't think we see that too much. So that's why it ends up on the news.
Yeah.
But then when it's like a guy teacher, it's just like, oh, okay, this is standard playbook, you know, standard thing that just happens.
And the thing about the
in every
girls is
city.
when they rape, like people have pity too. They're like, oh, did the student coerce you?
oh,
you know,
dude,
they get pity for that too. I'm like, wait, what? Whoa! You know what I mean? Like, you're playing victim. You're playing victim at that point. You know,
that's another thing that
like,
I want to talk
she's
about.
like, oh, the kid was hitting on me and we were flirting. You know, stuff. I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness. You know,
You know, that's another thing too. Not even the pity thing, but there's a bias that men are the trash sexes, the trash gender, and men are the ones that will bully a woman. Right? You go on the street, every girl's like concerned about her safety, which they should be.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying you don't fucking deny that. Like, oh,
It's
just because I'm
dangerous out here.
women, because
Yeah.
I'm like equal with men, no, I shouldn't be scared about my safety. No, you should be.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like when we go on dating apps, right? A woman is really cautious about her safety. She's like, let's meet in a public place. Whereas guys, we could just meet anywhere. But then I've gotten scrutinized to a point where it was like, even on the third date, she's like, oh, I don't want to get in your car. And I feel like I was very open with her. I'm very chill. I feel like it's not a problem after the first date ever. With that girl, it was just like, she was putting me in like the hot seat, like, yo, no, I'm scared of you. And I was like, you know, this actually happens a lot. And then so guys, they would get scrutinized as if they're like bad guys. And yeah, they have the right to be. The girls have the right to feel that way because there's bad guys out there. And then it just takes that one case for a girl to be traumatized. But then
no, I totally understand you. Sorry for cutting you off,
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
I had this one date recently where we went out to get something simple like ice cream, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, why don't we take it back to our car and then chill, right? And then she was like, oh, you know, like a little hesitant. She was like, oh, like your car? But I was like, oh, you know, let's chill. Like, you know, it's quiet
and
in
then
our
you're
car.
just innocently
Yeah,
asking.
I'm just like, yeah, we're
conveniently, right?
yeah, you know. And then she's like, she plays it like she's scared or something, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, you know, like I'm not gonna do anything. And then like the more we talk later on, like I ended up back at her place. Was the funny thing when she first was scared of getting into my car.
Dude,
you know,
that's crazy. That is crazy.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, you know what? That actually shows a lot. Because if a woman is so scared to go to your car or your house or whatever it is, anything regarding you, how does that make the man feel? Because it makes us feel uncomfortable. That
Like
she's-
we're the predator, right?
Yeah, it kind of makes us feel like we're predatory. It makes us feel like we're predators, and we make this girl unsafe. And because we make her unsafe, it makes us feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, dude.
And actually, that could actually prohibit this relationship to develop even further, because you have this like third date or fourth date, fifth date. I still don't want to go in your car. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, I shown you everything about my life, and it's like, yo, like, there's actually no reason to be scared.
So you think
it's just
by like the third or fourth date, is that like too much pity for her? You're trying to like make her comfortable, and you're just like, oh, maybe a fourth date.
It's not a matter of pittiness. It's just like the bias that society has on men. And I think this goes to show and ties back into like why women have more rights, because women are more vulnerable. Women don't look like the ones that would be predatory on men. Bro, remember that case? There's a girl that treated me like shit.
The one with the police.
Oh, dude.
The one with the police involved.
Dude.
Oh.
We need to make a video on this shit like soon, because I've been thinking about it. Like, we need to do it soon, because like so many topics tie into this. Basically, a girl did a bunch of bullshit, and she tried to put it on me. This story always happens. Look at the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp case, right? Look at all these cases, right? All the time. It's like someone could be doing all this fucked up shit, like a girl, onto a man, but then the man gets blamed for it. But I was really cautious. That's why I didn't get blamed. But then when talking to some of her friends or our friends about it, my own friends, which is also your friends, that's why I said our friends, they would be like, yo, why are you paying attention to this? Why does it bother you? And then they would victim blame me. Whereas if it's a girl who's getting like all this traumatic abuse from a guy,
they'll be comforting her.
They would be like comforting you, like, oh my God, it's okay. And you know what's fucking crazy is that she was the abuser.
Yep.
She was the abuser, and then there were fucking guys that were comforting her.
Bro.
I was like, holy shit.
Oh my God.
The privilege that women have, the rights that they have over us, is absolutely insane. So if you really think that women have it like worse than men, bro, the only thing I could think of is that you guys
give birth.
Every month you guys have to deal with periods and cramps. Okay, yeah, that's hard. Okay, you have to give birth. Yeah, that's also really hard. That's harder than fucking period. But you know, if you have a man supporting you, it's way easier. And the man supporting you also has to take time and effort and support, mental energy, to support you as well. Yeah. Of course, he's not going to experience the fucking pain and physical pain that you're enduring. But, dude, he's there and helping. So,
in that situation, would you think that, like, the guy or the girl is getting more pity?
Obviously, the girl's still getting more pity in that situation. If she's going to give birth, then, you know, it doesn't matter how much effort the guy's putting. She's still the one that's going to be pitied more. It's not like, oh, okay, like, you're a guy. You're supposed to be fucking supporting your girl.
There's some bros that come out and comfort the guy, right?
No one says, oh, you're a girl. You're supposed to be giving birth. People always go like, yo, yeah, you're a girl. So where's your guy at? Is he helping you out with this stuff? It's not like, oh, you're supposed to be doing this shit. But for a guy, it's like, shut the fuck up and suck it up and fucking support your girl, bro.
Dude, I feel like there should be more bros where we support each other. We're just like, where the girl's giving birth, the bros go up to the other bro, be like, I know you're having it tough, you know. I know you're locking it down, you know. Like, I feel your type of pain.
It kind of sucks, man, because that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. That's the sad thing. That's why I said we should, you know.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, that case I mentioned where that girl got comforted, it was actually from one of my friends, and then they hooked up.
The male friend?
Yeah, the male friend. And
wait. I mean, not the one.
We're not gonna say any names. I mean, he's still a friend.
Okay.
It's just more like, I never really treated that girl as someone I'd be serious with.
Oh, okay.
So
then
I'm like, whatever.
No hard feelings then.
No hard feelings. I don't give a shit. If it was my ex, I'd be like, yo, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Gotta drop this friend. But I think he knew that, like, I never treated her like as something serious. That's why he was like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna comfort her and, you know, boom, boom, boom. But you know, that goes to show, man, if the roles were reversed, I don't see any of her friends. I actually reached out to some of her friends, some who were female, and then one, what did they say? Like, one was like, this is your problem. Oh, don't involve me. And I was like, whoa. I'm trying to get some help from people because I feel like secluded, bro. I feel isolated as fuck. And then this girl just straight up shut me down. She was like, "This is your problem. Go talk to her yourself." I was like, "What the fuck?" And I see like my guy friends, bro. And then if
They're comforting her or what?
if anyone is having a shred of doubt, what the fuck I did, what happened between me and this girl, number one, you are affected by this bias for sure. That just proved my point even more. Number two, we will talk about that in one of the next future videos, bro. We have to talk about this. This is a fucking banger video. Anyone
Stay around for
I
that
have
video.
proof too. I have recordings. I have all of that. Stay around for any of that shit, man. That shit's gonna pop.
Big juicy video.
Big juicy, man. It's just such a sensitive topic that I've been delaying it. It's almost been a year, you know, and it had such a big impact on me that I've delayed it for so long talking about it. But I think going back to look at these recordings and all that,
It's been almost a year already, bro.
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
it made a big impact on me, man. So I think,
Oh wait, I think it's almost been a whole year.
bro, yeah,
Dude, I didn't know time went by that quick, bro. What?
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I'm kind of over it a little bit. Now we can kind of revisit that and talk a little bit about it. But like, leave us a comment below. Like, if you really want to see that shit, like, I mean, we're gonna have it. So you don't even need to leave a comment. Just subscribe.
Yeah,
just
just
subscribe.
subscribe.
Turn on bell notifications. All that stuff. Next thing I want to talk about is so we talked about like the pitied stuff, right?
Yeah.
The last point I have to talk about is girls, they get their meals paid for. They get comforted when things happen to them, right? It's usually like when a girl is going through shit, guys or society would pity them and they would want to do things. So they get catered more towards, right? So when we see like this whole women feminism bullshit going on, we cater towards them. We as men now, I think it's gone to a point where it's teeter-tottered. Now men have less rights, but men are not talking about this.
Wait, how so? How do men not have as much rights as women?
All the points I just listed, right? And then now it's just like we have a bias for women, and because we have a bias for women, and now we want to have like feminism more. We empower feminism, right? And then because feminism is getting increased,
Yeah.
which also translates to what? The pay also getting increased for women.
Pay gap, yeah.
Yeah, so the place that I work at, we have a role where it's like 50% of women have to have the same amount of roles as 50% of men. Hiring also has to be the same. So we can only hire the same amount of women as men. So
Do you think this equality is like working out? Like, do you think it actually benefits the agency to have like half
No.
females, half males?
it's just
It's just
a rule.
politics. Yeah.
It's just politics. And so we cater towards like feminism, right? So that's why I think we as a society, we just cater towards like what seems more vulnerable. And we see women because they're physically weaker than us.
Like from the Titanic, right? Like,
Yeah.
who gets on the lifeboats? It's the women and children, right? The men stay behind. Like,
Yep.
in all these hazardous situations, like, it's always the women and children first that are always, like, pitied or like, hey, like, here, you guys
Yeah.
go, first,
Like
and then
wars.
the men. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wars, yeah.
It's like the men get killed while the women and children are just like sold off or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not bad, like to be sold off as slaves.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that to be killed, you lost your life. You can't really regain anything at that point. So definitely I think that's like the down bottom. But like what I'm trying to say is that like men, we don't really, I think that has to do with our fault too. Because men, we don't really complain about these things. We're just like, yeah, this is reality. Let's just accept it.
Or like, we don't really question it or like kind of like, oh, like, why don't we do it this way?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So I was talking to like, you know how we have like these debates about like how if a man should pay on a date.
Yeah.
Like we have these debates on this podcast quite frequently. And then I had a friend, like he asked me, why do you guys talk about this? Why don't you just pay for the girl? I'm like, well, it's a morality issue. You know, if we're having these contradicting things where it's like men and women are equal, then why are we still paying, right? So he'd be like, just suck it up and just pay because you're not going to stand out from all the other guys who are paying. I'm like, that's fine. I believe in my moralities. You don't. That's what makes you you. That's what makes me me. That's what makes you a fucking NPC. That's what makes me stand out. So if you want to be an NPC and just like be following like what we can cater towards women for no fucking logical reasoning, that's you. Okay. So why I talk about this is because like this guy catered towards women and he doesn't give a shit. He's just like, shut the fuck up and suck it up. All right. So there's a lot of men out there, or just society in general, whenever a guy complains, we're just going to tell him, shut the fuck up and suck it up. We're not going to be like, oh, no, it's okay. Okay, let's make menism.
But isn't it the case that, like, when we do complain, no one gives a shit anyways?
Yeah, no one gives a shit.
So it's like, why even complain if no one's going to give a shit?
Yeah, what's the opposite of men?
Women.
Yeah. What else?
I'm not sure what you're trying to get at.
LGBT, right?
Oh.
So women and LGBT, they're kind of together. Why do you think all those liberal ideas, it's always women following suit with the LGBT? Because they're like, oh yeah, you know what? Fuck men. Men are trash. Let's just band together with LGBT, guys who are gay, guys who have transitioned to women. Let's just all band it together.
Yeah.
And then let's just go against men. And then so now we've suppressed men so far that now men probably don't even have that many rights. But we as men, we can't complain because society just goes like, you know what? You guys can't complain about shit because if you guys do, you guys are not men. Or if you guys do, you're bigots. Shut the fuck up. Accept it. And that's why I want to conclude here that's why men have no fucking rights.
Yeah.
Compared to women.
And women have more pity.
Women have more pity. Women have more rights, more privileges. So I think
at the end of the day, would you say women, due to all these factors, have an easier life than men do?
I would say so, yeah. I would say, yeah. A lot of women, their argument is that we have to give birth. We have periods. We have, you know, it's hard for us to get jobs. Well, I just disproved the gender pay gap. So, no, it's not hard for you to get jobs.
Maybe just the two biological things, the periods and the baby, right? Like
periods and the babies, and they're physically more weak. But men, we have to over account and compensate for a lot of
where we lack
our strengths.
Our
strengths, because we have more physical ability. So now we have to help more. We have to give more of a charity service, right? Also, that goes hand in hand with like our money. We have to give more charity to women. So we could give money for these dates and they could just ghost us. And you know, there's a study where it's like 1 in 3 women takes advantage of these dates just for a free meal. And so
I want to be,
I would totally understand if it's like you're one of those down-to-earth girls, you're not taking advantage of a guy, then yeah, I understand. Yeah, you probably have more inadequacies or less rights than men, that men have to pay for your shit. I guess. I mean, just as a man, as a gentleman, I'll just accept that fact, even though I just disproved everything just now. but
you're pitting them.
Yeah, you know, there's times where I actually do pay for a girl because I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to deal with this shit.
Yeah,
it, you know,
sometimes
like,
it's easier, right? Less of a headache.
Forget
you know,
it. Yeah. Even though I don't agree with it, I'm just like, forget it. Like, I don't want. It's not worth the hassle to argue. But like, seeing as how we do this, even though we have less rights, it doesn't make any sense, dude. It's just like, what are we doing all this shit for?
It's just because society says so, or this is like the norm, you know, like what we're supposed to be doing. But like, has anyone ever questioned why we're supposed to be doing this or why we're doing this?
Oh, they question it. They just go like, oh, because I got to pay for my expensive nails. I got to pay for my makeup so I can look good for you on the date. But what does a man have to do? He has to show that he has status. What does a girl look at when on a dating profile? What does this guy do for work? What does this guy do for work? He had to work his whole life to get to that point, right? I'm not saying a woman doesn't have to too. Like, I think Asian men, they look at that quite often. They look at like if this girl has a good basis for a good foundation.
So like swiping on the apps, you're like, oh, this girl's a lawyer, you know, nurse.
Bro, when I see a girl's a preschool teacher, and I'm not just saying me, a lot of my Asian men friends, I know you do too. We get turned off. We're like, bro.
Especially if they have like, oh yeah.
Yeah, preschool teacher, or if it's just like, I do nails and hair. all that.
Or-
Because I think
What are they called? The ambassadors or like club
Brand
promoters?
Yeah,
Yeah, or
brand
whatever. Yeah,
ambassadors.
those people too. I'm just like,
oh my god, Jesus, I can't. Because our parents taught us to Asian parents especially taught Asian men to find someone with our same level of status.
yeah,
If I'm like engineer making quite a bit of money, and you're a girl just doing this free labor, like doing nails for your friends,
Yeah,
and you're trying to make a living, and I don't know where it's gonna go in the future, and I don't know if I'm gonna have to take care of you financially like the rest of my life. It's kind of fucked, man. It's
it
like,
is.
dude, that's charity service for me to give to you.
Dude, at the end of the day, I feel like just women have it easier.
Yeah, that's why they have it
Period.
easier.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hot take. Everyone's gonna be fucking arguing in the comments. Oh my god, oh my god, these misogynists said this. Oh my god, they said it's easier for women.
Well, I mean,
The
if you're a guy
only-
saying that, I would recommend, or not recommend you, but I would want you guys to put yourself in a position of if you guys were a woman. Because you're thinking of it from a man point of view, but think of it from a woman's point of view.
The only things I could think of that's harder for women is what I listed: biological factors, and maybe you might get scrutinized from like your employers, like, oh, like is this girl competent for work? Maybe.
Yeah.
Very rare.
Barely,
I feel like.
yeah.
But I feel like with all these laws in place, dude, like there's so much equality, and there's less prejudice now against women now. Like there's so many cases where in court, like a woman was like, yeah, I mean, this guy just is not hiring me because I'm a woman. And then, you know, the court rules it in that woman's favor. And then now there's like a law passed, like you can't have, you can't be sexually profiling, you know?
Yeah. Which,
yeah, so
it's fucked.
I think it's easier for women, man. I mean, you think so too, right?
No, just like for anything, like you see a girl enter a building, you see a guy open the door for her. Do you see like a guy opening it for another dude, but besides like a doorman opening it? You know what I mean? Like,
If I were a girl, I'd be like, my only argument is, oh, it's because I'm a girl and you're a gentleman. Or the other argument is that door is really heavy. Other than that, if the door is light, you have no fucking excuse to open it yourself and be like, yeah, the guy should open. Maybe, oh, chivalry. Okay, if we want to say chivalry, then okay, that makes sense. But then you make the same amount as me, bro.
what's the equality?
What you talking
at that
about?
point? Yeah.
Then, and even with that, you got to be nurturing. Then you got to be nurturing where you be cooking me meals and you be like listening to me vent.
Yeah.
But some of these girls are like, oh, I don't care if I blue ball. Like other day, it's like, oh, I don't care if I blue ball you. I don't care if you're blue balled. Just like this boss babe attitude. I'm like, the fuck? That's not nurturing. That's very there's sadistic.
You think these sadistic girls, they still do get, you know, like treated like, you know, with pity and stuff too, right?
They do?
They're just like, oh, they're like, oh, you're this way because someone must have hurt you.
Yeah.
Right? You're just like, oh my goodness.
Actually, that same girl thought like I was. She took my kindness for. What was that phrase? Don't take someone's kindness for granted or something.
Oh, yeah.
For weakness.
For weakness.
I was just being nice and just being like laughing, like just like, you know, like making jokes and just like she was like, "Are you nervous? You're kind of awkward." And she just like low blows me. I'm like, you know, if a guy did that to a girl and said stuff like that, he'd be like canceled.
Yeah.
But for girls to say that, they can say that whenever they want. No one says shit, and it's normalized.
You're right. Yeah. Because honestly, like that happened to me before too, and like, you know, I just keep my mouth shut. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Because like if you say anything,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, if you want to low blow me, I'll low blow you, but then I'm gonna get canceled.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I might as well just keep my mouth
It's
shut.
like, oh.
I'm like, the fuck? I'm
So,
like,
so men, we suffer in silence.
yeah, we suffer in silence.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm just gonna wrap it up here. I think that was a really good topic. I mean, let us know your guys' thoughts below if you think women have more rights than men, or if you think men still have more rights than women. And what are the causes that women have it harder than men? I really want to hear it from like women's point of view.
Yeah,
you know, so if you're a woman watching this, leave your comments below. Like, why is it harder for women? I mean, I feel like we probably didn't touch up on some things that women have harder.
There's a lot, probably like makeup, you know.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
beauty,
we're very open to listening to that. Like, legit, like we read the comments. So if you really think that there's something easier that men have,
that needs to be talked about or discussed, you know, put it down in the comment section.
We're not like a misogynistic podcast. We listen to like men and women. We've even done like podcasts where like we helped out women. It's just in this case, it's very evident that men have it harder. I think what you said, men suffer in silence, right? I think men are just really scared to speak up. That's why we have male friends. They don't want to come on this podcast. They're scared.
Yeah.
More women are down to come on this podcast for dating, whereas men, they're just like, no, I don't want to get canceled.
Yeah.
I think that speaks a lot. That speaks thousands of words that like men are just like suffering in silence. They have less rights to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, I think we're going to end it here. Thank you guys for watching the Controvert podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Later.